Over the weekend, Blizzard dazzled a lot of gamers with cool announcements like Overwatch 2, Diablo 4, and Hearthstone AutoChess, I guess. But what they failed to do was distract me and a lot of people from the whole mess they started regarding Hong Kong. Sure, they apologized, but did they really? Alright, let's start with a quick recap. Blizzard punished a Hearthstone player named BlizzCon for voicing support for the Hong Kong protests on an official Blizzard stream. He was banned for a year along with 2 casters, though their punishments were later dropped to 6 months. Just a reminder, the people protesting in Hong Kong are opposed to the mainland Chinese government taking more control over the Hong Kong government. That control could eventually lead to things like further censorship or imprisonment for people who criticize the mainland Chinese government. Blizzard's previous apology kinda sucked, and for more about that, you can watch our video. So with BlizzCon on the horizon, a lot of people were expecting Blizzard to at least say something about the issue. Meanwhile, a lot of people were also ready to protest at Blizzard's biggest event of the year. Obviously, Blizzard wanted to get ahead of the story a little bit. So during his official introductory BlizzCon keynote, Blizzard president J. Allen Brack attempted to apologize.
You know, Blizzard had the opportunity to bring the world together in a tough Hearthstone esports moment about a month ago, and we did not. We moved too quickly in our decision making, and then, to make matters worse, we were too slow to talk with all of you. When I think about what I'm most unhappy about, there's really 2 things. The first one is we didn't live up to the high standards that we really set for ourselves. And the second is we failed in our purpose. And for that, I am sorry, and I accept accountability.
But he didn't actually talk about the ban. He didn't say BlizzCon's name, he didn't really talk about Hong Kong, he didn't talk about lifting the ban, he really didn't say anything about the situation at all. See, actions speak louder than words, and this isn't an apology. Well, it's not an apology for the ban, it's an apology for making people feel upset. And unless they are actually doing something, like lifting the ban, Blizzard is effectively saying that it feels bad, but they don't think they did anything wrong here.
We're sorry. We're sorry. Sorry.
And look, you don't have to take my word for it. People on Twitter are pretty upset too. Taking a stand on this is important, but as we've noted before, Blizzard has a lot of Chinese business interests. And while they say those had nothing to do with the decision to ban BlizzCon, it's hard to imagine that the decision didn't come from at least an attempt to appease the Chinese market or otherwise make their business partners happy. It was also potentially an opportunity to send a message, to make an example of BlizzCon to anyone who is trying to do something similar in the future. Now, it's important to note that Brack says that Blizzard is committed to doing better in the days and months to come, which great, but what are you doing right now? There's no reason that Blizzard couldn't have lifted BlizzCon's ban. He didn't break any laws. There's no reason they couldn't have taken action. They just chose not to here. Look, Brack's half-hearted apology was met with thunderous applause. This was clearly an incredible PR opportunity for Blizzard. Imagine how much incredible PR would have been generated if they just lifted the ban. So we're left with this, half an apology. All words, no action. So I want to take a chance to highlight some of the things that may have passed under the radar over the last couple weeks in this situation, and, try to shine a light on those instead of Blizzard's weaker apology. First, Tempo Storm picked up BlizzCon, and he'll be playing on their Hearthstone roster as soon as his ban is up. And honestly, good on Tempo. They're taking a stand on the issue, and sure, it could be seen as a calculated PR move, but at the end of the day, they're supporting BlizzCon, who isn't being supported by Blizzard. Also, the protests at BlizzCon went on pretty much unabated.
I understand why a company would want to stay away from political speech, but when it comes to something that is so universal, it kind of transcends politics, I feel that they should support players speaking up and speaking their mind.
And on top of that, people protested in more creative ways.
Yeah, free Hong Kong. Revolution of our times.
Sounds good to me.
Hey there! My name's Laurentium. So anyway, the identity of the mysterious jailer being unknown and somewhat a new figure in Warcraft LoW, is there a possibility that there could be a character we know is connected?
You got a question, mate?
Yeah. Free Hong Kong.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I also feel like it's really important to quash the rumors that Blizzard moved up announcements like Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 up to distract from the whole BlizzCon controversy. According to reporters in the know, that's just not true, and even if it were, I really don't think it worked. Now, a lot of journalists got a chance to follow up with Brack after his comments at the keynote, and he said some really interesting things to PC Gamer. First, he said that BlizzCon and the casters were not getting their bans appealed, and I'm gonna read this quote directly, so thanks to Steven Messner and PC Gamer for getting this interview. "We want the official broadcasts, which are a small percentage of the overall content that gets created, to be about the games, and we want those to be focused on the games. Again, it's not about the content of BlizzCon's message, it's about the fact that it was not around the games. If we hadn't taken action, if we hadn't done something, you can imagine the trail that would be in our future around doing interviews. They would become times for people to make a statement about whatever they wanted to on whatever issue. That's just a path that we don't want to go down. We really want the content of those official broadcasts to be focused on the games and keep that focus." So what Blizzard's saying that if you win, say, a major Hearthstone event and talk about anything that isn't Hearthstone, you're making a statement about something inherently political, that's not something they're interested in. While they say it's a dangerous precedent to allow that, I think it might be the opposite. There are plenty of award shows and sporting events where people are allowed to speak their minds, and it's only drawn people closer to those personalities.
Climate change is real. It is happening right now. It is the most urgent threat facing our entire species.
But anyway, Brack had more to say. PC Gamer followed that question up by asking Brack if BlizzCon still would have been banned if what he said wasn't political, and Brack basically says yes. The content was not the problem. It was the fact that it was not about the game in question. It was something very specifically different. I think, and I don't want to speculate around if he had said this, that, or the other and how it would have gone. I think that's a difficult thing to think about. But it's not about the content of his message. There are many people that are supportive of him and his message. I want to take a second and say that this is a little bit wild to me. What Brack is saying is that BlizzCon's messages were inherently political and thus took away and distracted from the game at hand. I get that. And sure, maybe Blizzard doesn't like that, but by banning BlizzCon, they've participated in the politics of all of this. They've made it even more political and bigger than it ever was before. They've taken a side. The politics are unavoidable now, and they've only made things worse over the last couple of weeks. Anyway, Brack went on to tell PC Gamer that Blizzard's decision to ban BlizzCon was actually partially influenced by China. He clarified that the post on Blizzard's Weibo about how the ban was done to protect China's national pride or something like that wasn't made by Blizzard, but rather by NetEase, who publishes all of Blizzard's games in China. Now, NetEase was apparently also part of the conversation around banning BlizzCon, along with Blizzard's Taiwan team and the Hearthstone leadership team. All right, look, I know, we've talked about this issue a million times here. You've watched 3 videos at this point about it, but I think it's really important to keep Blizzard honest. I'd love Blizzard to handle this situation properly next time, and it seems like they want to. But I think myself and a lot of people would like a real apology, not a half-hearted one that gets received by thunderous applause. This kind of thing will keep happening. As esports and gaming get bigger and scenes get more global, this situation will come up time and time again. And I think that it's really important that we, as esports fans and gamers, hold these massive companies accountable. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this. It has been 3 videos of this. You are probably sick and tired of hearing me babble on about this shit, so it's the last time. I really hope it's the last time. Blizzard, please don't fuck up again. I feel like if anything, the reason they announced Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 with no release date possibly in sight was because last BlizzCon was a fucking disaster. Right.
It's always just like an update of a game of a game of a game.
I mean, that's all it is, right? It's Overwatch 2 isn't even a sequel. It's an expansion pack where Genji wears a hoodie now. Mercy got a haircut, Overwatch 2. It's just seriously, it's like last year BlizzCon was bad. Of course they're gonna push up their announcements because they need to look good after last year. They didn't know about the BlizzCon thing. They had like 3 weeks to prepare for that. How would they possibly have moved that forward? I'm taking a stand. This is the hill I'm gonna die on.
More middle-aged mom haircut.
No, Mercy had a better haircut before. They gave Mercy the haircut of a mom who wants to speak to your manager. Sucks.